The housing situation is insane. I don't know why they decided that housing was going to be a commodity that can be bought, sold, and traded. Housing is a place to not get rained on, a place in which you can keep a couple items, your stuff, and then not, and it's a place where you can nest and sleep. That's all it's supposed to be. This insane need to have these gigantic monstrosities of houses is so unnecessary. It's actually almost offensive. Um, the fact that we people are supposed to pay thousands of dollars for housing is fucking insane. There should be at no time in history in which people pay more than $2,000 for an entire house. There should be never a time where people are paying $3,000, $4,000 for a mortgage, and they can't even afford it at that. And there shouldn't be people paying $2,000 or $3,000 for an apartment. This is crazy. And the fact that a lot of people are becoming homeless, the homelessness situation is going to be the majority. It's a significant minority of people are homeless right now. I walk down the street, I see homeless people everywhere. I see homeless people even in the suburbs. I see them walking around, but there's so many of them. It's not even. It used to be like when I was a kid, it was like this isolated place, and that's where all the homeless people hung out, and many of them made some terrible choices, and that's why they were homeless. They were on drugs, and they weren't responsible. Many people were like that. But now the homelessness is going to be so-called middle class people that used to be working better jobs, and they lost their jobs. They lost them. The golden goose job has flown. The so-called job that they thought they could be laid off from vanished. So it's going to be things like that. And the new poor, formerly middle class people, have plummeted back into poverty. There's going to be the regular homeless, the feral humans, and then there's going to be um, just people who work and are just poor, can't afford to stay indoors. And it's going to be crazy. And I think people don't understand that expecting to have the same job for 5, 10, 20 years is very unrealistic. Absolutely unrealistic. Prepared to be homeless. And I know people are going to be like, oh, you're fear mongering or you're being outrageous. But the truth is, a lot of people are going to be homeless in the next 5 years. In the next year, the homelessness is going to be off the chain because we are in a recession and we are on the cusp of a depression. We're not yet at depression levels. There's still some time, not much. But my suggestion is get rid of most of your stuff. The best thing you can do is get rid of the overwhelming majority of your things. And people need to learn that the possessiveness of having stuff is just is what keeps them enslaved. This society wants you to hang on to your things, hang on to stuff, and that alone is going to keep you at a bad job. That alone, that they want you to have things that they can control with you with. They want you to have a 30-year mortgage. They want you to have a 72-month car payment. They want you to have everything on a payment plan because then they got you completely controlled. And they want you to be renting forever. They won't let you have a house or have a place to live, barely. And they've made it so impossibly expensive, even though there's so many vacancies. I see downtown alone, I see lots of vacant condos, lots of vacant apartments, but they'll do anything. They'll give you They'll give gift card incentives. They'll give a free month of rent even. I've seen that on posts. They'll do anything but raise the price, and reduce the price. I saw a post a couple months ago, and it was a two-bedroom apartment for, I think it was $2,300, and they said they would give you 1 month of free rent, a $500 grocery gift card. I mean, they will do anything, and they said they would include free internet, but the monthly rent is $2,300. They will do anything. And I do believe that these companies, these ownership groups that own these apartments, they'll do anything but reduce the prices. They'll even let it fold. They'll let it sit vacant forever if they have to in some cases. Then actually reduce the prices of their overinflated, overvalued product. So I just I think it's an abomination that people keep buying into it. And I know people will not be able to do what I do. I'm a single person that is going to voluntarily, change, refuse to be sheltered. Right now, I'm just playing out the last couple months of my apartment contract. But after this, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I can't do it anymore. I am not going to pay somebody else's, I'm not going to pay somebody else's mortgage, property taxes, or worse yet, second or third house. It's not my job to subsidize your retirement plan. This is insane. They won't even let you just exist or survive. They want to absolutely destroy you financially, willfully, and they're excited about that. When I had to come into this apartment, they wanted to know how much money I made. And you know why they want to know how much money you make? So they can raise your rent into forever. That's really what that is, in my opinion. That's what I see it as. I see it as a indication that they want to continue to raise my rent until they can't do it anymore, and somebody's going to stop living here. Especially for where I live right now, they want thousands of dollars for an apartment that is falling apart. That's the only affordable housing, by the way. They stopped building affordable housing for middle class people. The only affordable housing is your 50, 60, 70, 80, 100-year-old apartment that's falling apart with leaky taps and exploding kitchen sinks and just, mice and maybe roaches. That's affordable apartments. You'll get that for maybe $1,000. You might be able to get that if you're lucky in a medium-sized city. In a large-sized city, you will get the same package deal as I mentioned, but it's going to be $2,000 or $3,000. I'm sick of it, and I think more people need to protest. More people are not going to be able to do what I do because I don't have much to lose. I'm at that point where bring it on. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, the biggest fear used to be, oh, I'm going to become homeless. I know it sucks, but houselessness and not having an apartment and just being free of that is so much better than coming up with thousands of dollars that you can't afford, especially with the way these jobs are disappearing. The best thing you could do is just, do the worst case scenario and figure out how to get a place to live every month. Even if you have to rent out some sort of alternative sleeping ways, you don't have to sleep on the streets. There's different places that you can figure it out that are not the conventional ways. Think outside of the box, that you can remain sheltered um, without having to pay these stratospheric prices. So that's all I'm going to say.